A polarized Egypt entered a second week of political crisis, as opponents and supporters of deposed President Mohamed Morsi held rival demonstrations in Cairo and cities across the country. The rallies on Sunday came as a coalition that backed Morsi's removal wavered over the choice of Mohamed ElBaradei as interim prime minister. This also comes 2 days after 30 people were killed and more than 1,000 wounded in demonstrations by tens of thousands of Muslim Brotherhood supporters and opponents. Meanwhile, Ahmed Suleiman, Egypt's justice minister, submitted his resignation on Sunday to the Council of Ministers, Egyptian news agency MENA reported. Suleiman will stay on in a caretaker role until the formation of a new cabinet, it said. The Tamarod movement, which engineered even bigger protests on June 30 that culminated in Morsi's overthrow on Wednesday, led calls for people to gather at Tahrir and Ittihadiya presidential palace to complete the revolution. And the anti-Morsi crowd swelled in the iconic square as people poured in from side streets, some unfurling a giant national flag emblazoned with the words "Go away," echoing a slogan used widely on June 30. Egypt had a revolution, not a coup, read a huge banner wielded by one set of demonstrators. Others carried portraits of Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the general behind Morsi's ouster. There were similar scenes in Alexandria on the Mediterranean and other major cities. Their Islamist rivals converged on Rabat al-Adawiya Mosque, Cairo University and the Republican Guard headquarters for rallies to support the legitimacy of Morsi's election in June last year and to reject the military coup. Carrying pictures of Morsi, they erected barricades and set up checkpoints in various parts of the capital. Some even forced the closure of the main road to the international airport. Doubts over interim PM. In an interview published on Sunday, ElBaradei called for inclusion of the Brotherhood in the democratization process. No one should be taken to court without a convincing reason. Former President Morsi must be treated with dignity, the ElBaradei told German news weekly Der Spiegel. The official MENA news agency said on Saturday that caretaker President Adli Mansur had appointed ElBaradei, only for his office to later deny any final decision had been taken. Presidential advisor Ahmed al-Muslimani said ElBaradei, the former head of the UN nuclear watchdog, remained the strongest candidate. He is on top of the list of names, Muslimani told AFP. But by Sunday morning, after another round of talks, a senior Salaf politician said his Al-Noor party would not accept ElBaradei. Our position is simple. There are 2 reasons to reject ElBaradei: we need a technocratic economic figure, and we need to end polarization on the street, said Nader Bakar. We can't talk of national reconciliation and then make Morsi's most ardent opponent prime minister. An official close to ElBaradei conceded there were fears of alienating Al-Noor, which won almost a quarter of votes in a 2011 parliamentary election, and driving them into Morsi's camp. Morsi, who has been in custody since Wednesday, had issued a defiant call for his supporters to defend his legitimacy as Egypt's first freely elected president, in a recorded speech released shortly after his removal.